This is Gene Montrastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast, recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 502, originally aired March 10th, 2021. Hey everyone, I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you get a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Today we are going to talk about and tap for hitting a wall emotionally. But before we do that, just a quick reminder, we have a free 10-part guide to help you to eliminate self-sabotage using tapping and EFT. All you need to do is go to tappingqa.com, click on the big blue button. If you happen to be listening to this right now in the website, just go up to the top of that right-hand column, click the blue button, and we will start sending you that guide every single day. We'll give you a small tool that you can use for the next 10 days so it's easier for you to take action and to become more effective with your tapping. In the middle of February, I realized there was a weekend where I did not do anything at all. And, based on what is going on in the world and the weather and how little is open here in New York City, it makes sense that I would be doing less than normal. But I really did nothing. I didn't reach out to people. I basically just sat on the couch when I wasn't practicing magic tricks, which has kind of been my quarantine activity, getting better with a deck of cards. But really 2 days passed and nothing happened. And when I sat down at my desk Monday morning after that, and I was looking at the tasks that were in front of me and how the previous week had gone, I realized the fact that I was just really in a kind of a haze. And in that moment, I realized that for the fourth time in the last year, I had hit an emotional wall. But just because of the nature of what is going on in the world, and you've heard me talk about this before, because of what is going on right now, even as things normalize a little bit, we are paying a 20% energy tax every single day when we get up, just because of what is going on in the state of the world. And on any given day, that makes the day a little harder, and maybe it's manageable and maybe it's not. But when that compounds over time, then it gets harder and harder and harder. And it's almost like a room that is slowly filling up with sludge. In the beginning, we're just kind of stepping across the top of it, and then we're wading in it. And once it gets up to thigh height, it's really hard to move through. And that was my experience in February. And so when I got that clarity, and when I took a step back, I realized that I needed to be much more thoughtful and much more deliberate about the actions that I needed to be taking and how to take those particular actions. And so I created a number of plans. I created a tapping plan. I created a physical exercise diet plan. I created a spiritual be more grounded every single day plan. And I reached out to a friend of mine and said, we just need to be accountability buddies. You got some time every single Monday that we can just get on the phone and chat for a few moments just to make sure that we're holding each other accountable to make sure we're doing the tasks that we need to do. Well, a couple of weeks later, after doing all of that, I am feeling significantly better. I'm not all the way back to my, fighting prime, but I'm in a circumstance where these things are showing up in a way that is easier for me to do every single day. And so, as at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, as winter continues to drag on and there are spots of little spring coming, and it feels like we are in this time as a flat circle where it is the same monotony over and over and over again, because many of us, our lives have gotten considerably smaller in the footprint we navigate because of what is going on. It's really easy to feel like you've hit that wall. And so for me, a couple of things were important. The first was acknowledging the fact that is exactly what I was going through. Acknowledging the fact that I really was feeling stuck in a malaise, which then gave me the ability to start planning, to start thinking deliberately about things I could be doing, how I could be healthier, how I could navigate this in a way that would be good and useful for myself. And so today, what I'd like to do is I'd just like to take a few moments to do a little tapping to help you to recognize where you are and how we can start getting out of that place when we really feel stuck because we've hit a wall. So to begin with, tap on the side of the hand, take a nice big deep breath for me. Take another nice big deep breath for me. What I want you to do is I just want you to move from tapping point to tapping point, repeating after me. I recognize the fact that it's been hard recently. I recognize the fact that it's been slowly wearing me down. Little by little, day by day, it has gotten harder and harder. And because it has been a gradually building burden, I didn't realize the consequences of how hard it has become until this moment when it's really, really hard. I give myself permission to acknowledge the fact that it's hard right now. I give myself permission to recognize that I really am overwhelmed. I give myself permission to admit how run down I am in this particular moment. And this is not a failing. This is not a judgment of how I got to this particular place. Instead, this is a simple acknowledgement of the reality of what is going on. Because having ups and downs are natural. And at this particular moment, I happen to be at one of the downs. I give myself permission to acknowledge where I am as the first step of creating transformation. As the first step of being able to move forward. Now that I'm aware of where I am, I give myself permission to make thoughtful, deliberate choices. I don't have to change everything all at once. I don't have to turn it all around in an instance. But it is possible for me to be in a situation where I make a thoughtful choice that is in my best interest today. And to make another choice tomorrow. And another choice the next day. In doing so, I will start to turn myself around. In doing so, I will start to feel better. And with each day, as I feel a little bit better, it will be easier to feel a little bit better. And I might backslide in the process. And that's okay as well. Because after backsliding, I can move forward again. I can make thoughtful choices. I can make deliberate choices. The goal is to be moving up. Not to fix everything all at once. The first step is being honest with where I am right now. And by doing that, it will make the next positive choice an easier choice to make. Nice deep breath. So as we were tapping through that, I don't know if it was picked up on the microphone, but here when I'm recording in the morning, now that spring is coming and there is a little more light, the mourning doves like to sit on my windowsill and coo along to what we are doing here. So as we were tapping, they were providing the background noise here in my home office. I don't know if you got a chance to enjoy a little bit of spring as well as we were doing that. But being in a circumstance where we're just being honest and assessing where we are is okay. Because if we do not acknowledge the reality of what we are going through, it is impossible for us to respond to that challenge. And that doesn't mean we wallow, and it doesn't mean we define ourselves by that struggle. But by thinking about it in small, deliberate ways, it makes it easier for us to move forward and make better choices. If you are feeling stuck like I was feeling stuck, I hope this is a useful tool to help you to turn that around. If you know someone in your life who also might be feeling a little stuck right now, reach out to them, say hi. If nothing else, just reaching out to them and saying hi is going to make their day a little brighter because they're going to feel less isolated. If you want to share something like this with them, or, just go find a video online of a duck riding a Roomba being chased by a cat or the other way around, and just make them smile that way as well. But it's important that we're staying connected in these trying times. If you have not done so already, I would encourage you to subscribe or follow to the podcast. You can find the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Pandora, Spotify. Remembering in podcast parlance, subscribe/follow is always free. When you go into your app of choice, click on the button that says subscribe, follow, turn on the notifications, turn on the automatic download so that every single time a new episode comes out, you will get them and you'll get notifications about that. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have a topic you'd like us to cover in the future, if you have someone you'd like me to interview, I'm getting ready to do a bunch of interviews for the spring and summer. You can always reach me, Gene, Gene, at tappingqa.com. I've already received a number of really awesome recommendations from people I was unaware of their work, which is always really exciting for me, and I hope you enjoy those conversations as well. For the Tapping Q&A podcast, this is Gene Montrastelli. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye-bye. The Tapping Q&A podcast is copyright Gene Montrastelli Tapping Q&A. All views expressed by guests are those of the guests and not necessarily of Gene Montrastelli and Tapping Q&A.